After a few days of doing nothing, right now the market is correcting lower. Bitcoin is actually slowing down. It had a microstructure pointing to the downside, a head and shoulder pattern that broke to the downside, and your target is 25,450. That is what we are looking for in this short term move. But what is interesting here is to look at the Bitcoin dominance, because it just suggests you there is possibilities which are not negative. Now, yes, we know how the Dow closed last week, so we are just waiting for next 12 hours to see how the market is going to reflect on this new week. Because if it is continuing to drop to the downside, you will see a lot of people moving out of the stock market. Most of them will actually move into the money market. Few will just go to the banks, but some of it will come into crypto. That's where you look at these crypto assets. Where are they? Are they close to a support? Do you think a lot of money is going to come into this particular asset, or a lot of different assets, or the entire crypto spectrum? That is where, when you take the total crypto market, this kind of brings you a little bit of light at the end of that tunnel. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Right now, we're discussing through a lot of different issues in the crypto market. We are looking through a lot of different opportunities and how things are evolving. See, especially when you look at the total crypto market, this is important. The RSI had broken to the upside. It was consolidating inside this particular pattern from a few months, but then it decides to break to the upside. Now it's coming back down to retest that range. So what we want to see is the RSI bouncing off, is the MACD bouncing off. We are looking for the positive side. Now remember, as you zoom out, you are in a tight range of support and resistance. If you actually zoom in, you do watch that historically speaking, this particular range has been acting as a strong resistance, support. So as of now, each time you come back down towards this particular level, that's like the price actually bounces back up. So you don't have a lot of concern. Now, how low can we still go and still be bullish? Say somewhere around 6% is still okay. What does that mean on a Bitcoin price chart? This 4% drop takes you somewhere close to 25,500. So if you're actually talking about the possibility of a 6% drop, that means you can actually come close to $25,000 and still bounce back up. Now, we have done that in the past. We have dropped a little bit below 25 couple of times before we wicked off and went back up, whether it was in June or here back in September. So these days actually show you like, okay, volatility is coming into the market, but immediately that price kind of gets overbought, you go up. That's like, okay, someone is staying just below $25,000 to buy this asset heavily. Now, if you take a look at XRP on that front, what we are looking at is, yeah, we got the double bottom in the RSI, we were bouncing off, but we're not actually getting that momentum. Like if you're a bull in this asset, you really want to see a lot of bullishness coming in. But when you actually go on a 3-day chart, you do have some bullishness, but we didn't get a follow through. As of now, we're still waiting for a follow through. So what we want to see is the MACD crossing to the upside, RSI grinding back to the upside. But let's be realistic. Let's actually go on to a daily chart, then a short-term structure to see what it is showing you right now, because it becomes really interesting. See, when you actually go on to a Heikin-Ashi chart showing, okay, most likely the next day is going to be negative. This is what the Heikin-Ashi is suggesting you. So usually if you are tending like this, then the next day you're going to come back down to 0.48. That is what the Heikin-Ashi is suggesting you. Great. Now we're going to go on a 12-hour chart. It's like, okay, we're starting to shift the short-term momentum. Not the long-term one, but the short-term one. Yeah. You're getting the bulls, then a little bit of bears, a little bit of bulls. So it's slowly trying to go into that area where bears on short term is going to take control of the price. Which means you may actually literally see the price going back down. Now, you zoom in, you zoom in, you zoom in. You want to really see what's happening. So on a 4-hour chart, what we are watching is that the short-term moving average is crossing to the upside. Last time when that happened, you actually saw that the price action did correct back down and then went back up. But that was a retest. Now, in this case, we haven't yet broken through that range. So either we can put that argument saying, okay, we are somewhere here. That means as soon as the moving average crossed to the downside, price come back down to test the moving average and then bounce off. So you go back in time, you're looking at each and every references which you can get from the price action. Each time the 50-day moving average is crossing the 200 on a 4-hour chart, you're watching the prices coming back down to test the moving average and then bouncing off. So this is like, March, we bounced back towards 0.5 and continued that rally. Great. The next one is here. Again, we came down, tested the moving average, bounced off. Now, if that's true, I would actually put the argument like, okay, maybe it's not 0.47, 0.48, maybe it's just 0.5. We're kind of close to that range right now. So if we actually drop somewhere close to 0.495, 0.5, I would still be bullish on this asset because that in short term means you are going to most likely get a continuation to the upside. Now, as you zoom out, one thing which you have to remember is that at least a daily structure kind of gives you a lot more confidence about what. When you actually see the price action showing you something and you don't understand what it is showing you, great. Take a lot of different approach to understand that. Here again, that's a daily chart. The moving average is crossing to the upside, but what the hell did happen? Instead of getting a bullish cross, the golden cross, and you going up, the price came back down, testing that range. So when it was crossing to the upside, the price came down. Yeah, eventually it went up, but it took some time. Now, you are watching that the 50 is going to cross the 200 to the downside. So what happens when that comes into the picture? This is here. You already made the bottom there. Now you are reversing back to the upside. Again, it's crossing to the upside. You made the local high. You came back down and then went up. So your macro direction is same, but the short-term fluctuation is what we're talking about. How can you take advantage of this short-term fluctuation? See, if this is about to come a little bit lower, somewhere close to this range, and say I'm making a double bottom here, great, and it's going to bounce off, huge. It's going to give you an opportunity somewhere close to 0.5 and maybe ride it till 0.7, 0.8, short-term trades. That's it. But if you are someone who's looking at this asset on a medium to long-term horizon, I'm watching the RSI shifting to the upside. I'm watching the MACD trying to go back to the upside. I'm watching the price on a Heikin showing you I'm green now. I'm green now. That's at the 200-day moving average, which is bullish because historically speaking, you break the 200-day moving average, you come back, retest, and bounce off. And that bounce was the biggest rally mode. Now, where are we right now? You broke through that 200-day moving average. You're coming back down. You're testing that right now. If you bounce off, we're going to see something big happening. Maybe next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I really don't know. But what we do know is historically speaking, there is something huge. All those run-ups in XRP kind of gives you a lot of idea. It was just 105 days. But what's more important in all of this is just a month, 28 days. That's something huge. Now, why is that important? If you go back in history, all the way down, you want to actually get the market cap chart of XRP and understand this fact. You go back in history, all the way back to the area where you understand that something is happening in this asset. I was going through this asset and I knew this range was 28 days and this range was 28 days, but I didn't actually notice that even back in 2014, this showed you a 28 days rally. I'm like, Ay, 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 ay. That's crazy. Meaning this asset at 28 days seems to be something in the algorithm, or whether it's a bull, whether it's someone who's buying this asset or pushing the price up. I'm like, okay, am I getting this wrong? It's huge. When you start, you have 28 days to take profit. When you start, you have 28 days to take profit. Or if you're riding the wave 2, yeah, you may get 2 pounds, but keep this in mind. Each of these rallies are not small. You're talking about a 5-6x run up here, which was already, follow up of a first 600% run up, which means that actually gave you 40x run up. That's huge. Again, the next one here, the first run up somewhat like 12x, that was a great one. The next one again 14x. So if you held on, that was like 85x. That's huge. Each of those runs are like 28 days. But in between, when the price action corrects from that top to the bottom, 21 days. That's again interesting. That means you only have a month time when these guys actually run up. And I'm like, you're taking from that local bottom to the local top and it's 28 days. You're taking it from the local bottom till the local top and it's 28 days. Again, it's interesting to watch. Now, okay, that's in 2014, this is in 2017. You come back here in 2021, you're like, okay, this run up, 28 days. This run up, 21 days. Okay, that was a crazy run up in between. You got another 28 and another 28. I'm like, yeah. This is something we cannot say, I can't see this in the price action. If it's me, I would put that argument like maybe I'm completely wrong. But if we are starting something from here, that's going to be just 1 month of a run. Sometimes it's 21 days, sometimes it's 28 days. If we do start something here by the end of September, by October, that's like, by the end of the year, you're watching one run up, at least one run up. And in wave 2, these one run up seems to be really huge. So from 0.5, if you go up to $5 as that first run up, $5 to $6, how many of you would be taking profits? Let me know that. Let me know if you're like, I'm not taking profit. Cool. But I will be taking profit. I want to know whether you will be doing that too. Because after that, yeah, you will see some drop and then another continuation to the upside. We'll be following to see if it's big guys moving out and you don't have enough energy to go up. We will be following up that and posting everything we can to update you guys on the Patreon here. So if you are interested in those kind of information and the opportunity calls, which are literally working for a lot of people, you can look at the Patreon. The link is in the description below. Right now, it's important for us to understand where we stand because the market is giving you a lot of false flags. And if you take that, you may miss a huge opportunity in the market. You're watching volume shifting into different assets and being positioned in those assets kind of give you a lot of advantage. Now, I want to also add something. Did you actually hit that like button? If you have done that already, thank you. If you haven't, please consider doing that. Now, jumping back into this, okay, that means when something starts, you have around 28 days. This time around, is there a difference? I mean, I'm seriously asking this question to myself and saying like, it's interesting. Here, you actually had another 28 days. I'm like, okay, that was from the bottom till that local top. That's interesting. Then here, there's an exception. With the news, you actually did all of that together. Here, you got a 21 days. I'm like, okay. So you had a 28 and 21, then a 28 and 28. So you had a 28 and 21. Are we going for another 28 days of a rally? Maybe. That's one of the reasons why I'm like, okay, maybe in September. We only have a week left. Maybe in October we start this run up. I really don't know. But if we do start, if you do see a giant candle popping up on a daily, on a weekly, prepare your targets. Make sure you have order set in for the first run up. I'm not saying exit 100%. I'm saying if you are that guy who felt really bad because you didn't take profit here at $2, Yeah, this time around, when it comes to 2, when it's at 3.5, when it's at $5, you should take, because that's you as a human being. If the price goes back down to $2 or $1 from that $5 to $6, you are going to have a lot of regret, which will actually play emotionally very negatively on your portfolio. You don't want that to happen. After holding through all this time, get positioned well, prepare your mindset in a way that you're going to take profits, you're going to enjoy this. Because after all this, I would say we are human beings. We need that. So make sure you understand your psychology, your emotions, and balance it. We're doing that on the one-on-one sessions as much as possible, talking to you guys as much as possible, giving you guys the right thought process about all these different assets which you have in your portfolio, because not everyone has the same assets. That makes it a little bit difficult for everyone to have the same balance, because some of them are 80% in fundamentals and 10% are a little bit risky, 10% heavy risk. Some of them are 50-50. I'm a huge risk taker. That's what some says. So it depends on how you look at the market, but make sure market is the same. Just your reaction is what makes it different for you. So if someone is making 100x, someone is making a 50x, and you say the average is 50, okay, try getting 40 to 50, you should be happy. And if you need some help in that kind of thought process, again, you can do that one-on-one session. We can go through all that. You can just look at the link in the description below. So guys, if you received value, please do smash that like button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.